Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning into this episode of the Creatives of Windsor Podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Shirtout, and today I'm sitting down with local musician Brandon Scott Friel of Gardens.
Hey,
thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me, man. This is such a great space.
Thank you. I know we just had a little chat, but I guess because of the way I introduced you, we should probably talk about the name change first.
I guess that makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah. All right, go for it. What's up?
Today this felt like the right time to finally do this artist name change, and it's weird, kind of coming from your own name, because everyone's like, "How could you be more you than you? What your names are?" Yeah. But I'm gonna be completely honest. Like, I'm a big Gregory Alan Isakov fan. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that folk artist. And when I was starting out, I was really all in on folk as a genre and wanting to sound like him.
Okay.
So it had a big influence on me going by my 3 full names. I thought that kind of fit what a folk guy is supposed to do. So oddly enough, my own name was the most imitative kind of way to start intentionally. You know? And I don't like that. Kind of what I've grown into now is understanding that I really need, why I like Gregory is he's very good at expressing who he is. And that's what I am attracted to. It's not about doing what Gregory does. It's about me finding, like he did, what I do. And renaming the act Gardens and kind of freeing myself up where I don't have to personify my music. My Instagram account doesn't need to be my breakfasts and me wishing happy birthday to all my friends. It can just be a space for my art and for what I want to make is the first step. I feel like that it really feels like, yes, I'm free now. This can just be a playground. Gardens is where I go to just show you the stuff I dig, and hopefully other people dig it too.
No, that's a great answer. That's really cool. So how did you come up with that name?
Many terrible names, which I will not repeat first. Because there's this stage, and I've been in bands, so I knew it was going to happen, where when you're trying to come up with a name for a project, you make a bunch of joke names first, and you laugh, and you go, ha, 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 ha. And then eventually you have to start saying real ideas, and that's the worst. Because then you're being authentic about, like, I think maybe this name. And then you wake up the next day, and you're like, oh my God, if I had done that name, I'd be so embarrassed. So many bad ones. There's not a runner-up. There's no, like, it was almost this. Everything was terrible. And then I came up with Gardens. It was originally, I think it was going to be like something Gardens, like some sort of adjective or something. Yeah. But they kept sounding like Chinese food restaurants when I did that. So eventually the producer I work with, James, was just like, I think just Gardens feels really cool. Have you thought about that? And the more I sat with that one, the more it just clicked and was like, yeah, absolutely. That's what it is.
How long have you been sitting on that for?
So I started making this record has been in progress for probably a year. And I knew as it was coming together, just because it's so sonically different, I knew I was going to probably do an artist name change because now was the time. The sound was changing too. So I've been sitting with an artist name change for over a year. Okay. Gardens I've been sitting with for, I think, about 5 months.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's a good amount of time.
Yeah, that's right. Like, enough time. If it was a tattoo, I'd be confident to get it now.
So are you making a new Spotify now?
Yes.
So the Brandon Scott Friel one is going to be just have
always
whatever's
exist,
on it.
And yeah, it's always there. Anyone who likes those tunes, they're not going anywhere, and I'm not going to rebrand them either. Yep. Because that's what that was.
You're not going to release them under the new name.
No, because that chapter is really important, and I'm not ashamed of it in any way. I'm really happy in it. It got me to where I am now. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm just staying true to where I'm at, and right now it feels like the right time to move on.
How many records did you put out? Like, have you put out under your name?
3 records under Brandon Scott Friel. Yeah, so I did one just in my home when I was living at home with my folks in the basement. I made 1 record there, and then I did 2 Summer Moons, and 2021 was the latest record that just came out.
And that one you released on vinyl, right?
Yes, yeah, that's right. The Summer Moons is on vinyl. Yeah, that's right.
Because you were in the Sixes podcast documentary.
Yeah. Spinning Docs. That was so fun, so great.
Yeah. I haven't. It's been like a year since it came out. I watched it twice. He gave me he let me watch it early.
Nice.
Because well, we're friends, but also I had him on the podcast, so I got to watch it before it came out.
Great.
And then I went to not like the real premiere, but like the private premiere.
Oh, gotcha.
I don't know if you were there.
No, I was playing that day. I only went to the Meteor one, which was the official premiere, right? If I remember correctly.
Yeah. Well, the one I went to was at Meteor, and it was not the official one.
Okay.
I don't know. I thought the official one was at the Capitol.
Oh yeah, you're right. That's the one I missed. Yes, so I was at the Meteor one,
which is the one I was at. So
we're both there. Great.
Yeah.
All right, perfect.
That was like for you guys, right? Like the artists.
Yeah,
and stuff.
you're right. I'm sorry. You're right. That is how that went. I forgot.
Because that was very chill.
Yeah,
like
I loved it.
Low key.
Low key. We were all just sitting in chairs, kind of hanging out. It was really nice.
Yeah, everybody that was like in it was at that one, kind of, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay,
Yeah.
I thought so.
It's memory of mine.
No, it's all good. Yeah, though that was cool. You were pretty much, obviously, I don't remember exactly. It's been a year, but he had you on just to talk about your music and like your process of cutting to vinyl and everything, right?
Yeah, and just kind of the take on vinyl in general, because obviously it's made a giant boom comeback in the last little bit among artists. Unfortunately, like I say in the doc, it's the most expensive merch I have to print, and I don't make a ton of money on it, but it's really cool. There's no denying it's amazing.
Are you sure you're going to do vinyl with the new record?
Absolutely, I'm going to do vinyl with the new record. I can't wait. I'm really, really excited for that.
Where are you getting all your artwork done for this?
So I'm working with Cameron of Stay Open. I've always admired her work a ton, and it felt really great to finally be able to be like, hey, let's make something together. And it's been a really fun process. She's pushing herself into new territory, and it's really exciting to see an artist that good taking chances and risks like that for my project. It really means a lot, so I'm excited.
Is she doing just your photos, or is she doing like the graphic design
she's
too?
doing the graphic design on the album artwork as well.
That's cool.
So yeah, it's kind of like a full package deal. Yeah, it's really, really exciting. When we met up just to chat, and I was really intrigued by just how much vision and enthusiasm she brings in when she's working on stuff. And we kind of share that frantic artist brain and wanting everything exactly so. And in that way, it's such a great relationship to kind of get in.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's your water, by the way.
Oh, thanks
Just
so
so you
much.
know if you want one.
I'm going to keep sipping coffee if you don't mind. We're doing the early podcast.
That's totally fine. I'm glad you were down in the morning.
Yeah, I am a morning guy. Like I work, I run music programming. That's how I pay my bills at Montessori's and daycares.
Cool.
So I'm up every morning in the week. So I do it. And the older I get, the more I kind of naturally get up early now. I don't know if you're experiencing that yet, but
Yeah, no, I really only slept in when I was in high school.
Really? So you've always been kind of more of a morning dude?
Yeah, I only in like the middle of high school too. I don't know. I like waking up early and just like, rocking the whole day. I've always been like that.
That's so great. It's something that I had to kind of work towards because naturally I love sleeping.
When I was in grade school, my grade school started at 9, so I'd have to start getting ready at 8.
Right.
And I like the entire time I was in grade school, I'd wake up at 7 every day and do like
No way.
play video games or like go skateboard till 8 and then get ready for school.
You're like those kids and like I'd see them on like sitcoms and TV shows who are up so far before school. I'm like, no one does that in real life, but you did. You did it in real life.
Yeah, I would get up and play Halo for like an hour and then get ready for school. Or
Awesome. This is Creatives of Windsor Podcast, so I think we can play some inside baseball. What grade school did you go to?
Gracie King.
Grace King. Okay, I'm St. Gabe's guy.
Oh, okay, nice.
we
Yeah,
went too
which
far.
is 2 blocks from
that's
where
right.
I live.
yeah, exactly.
So did you go to Holy Names then?
Yes.
Yeah, so did I.
Okay, hilarious. That's why you look
What year are you born?
89.
Yeah, I'm a 95.
95. Yeah. Young kid, get out of here.
No, that's cool. Nice.
Yeah, man.
I have little sisters that go there now, actually. So
Go Knights. Go Knights.
Anyway, let's get back into into why we're here.
Yeah.
So what? Let's do your album first.
Sure.
So is it's still a folk record? Is it still a folk record?
Tricky. It depends. I think of folk in a certain way it that isn't related to the instrumentation, and I get how for some people that doesn't make sense. I think a lot of people think folk, and the first thing they think about are like kind of organic instruments, strings, like banjos, acoustic guitars, 4 on the floor, claps, and those are all really great things. To me, what I think I love about folk is more the storytelling and the intention behind lyrics. And that's and acoustic guitar, which I still am playing a lot of. But I think there's a trapping that can happen with folk artists, and there are some that do it so well, but it's easy to also kind of start doing this like Civil War reenactment thing where you pretend you're from the 1930s or 40s and you make music that sounds like it's from there, but it's not necessarily what you want to be doing. I'm not going to pretend that I didn't grow up and hear songs with synths that I thought were so badass, and that I don't think drum machines are cool, because I think drum machines are so sick. So those are on this record. So in that sense, when people go, is it a folk record? Yeah, but there's synthesizers and drum machines on this record. So some people would immediately go, that's not a folk record. So I don't know what it is.
I think it's good to grow the genre. Like you said, you can't be stuck in the past. Like Bob Dylan introduced bass and drums and electric guitar to folk, and everybody was like
kind of not so pleased with him at the time, because it can be kind of treated with this like kind of sanctity of like you're doing something unholy in this sacred space. And I really, that's not the intention. This is not a like punk rock statement I'm making here. All I can do is make what I really, really like to make.
Yeah.
With what I like to make. And if people are like, this is not folk, I'm also gonna be like, cool, I totally get it.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's fine.
No, like I think things should always like change and keep up with the times to like be more relatable, I guess, right?
I think so too. Because I do think there's a risk of being left behind because you're grasping onto the wrong things. Like, I don't know. I really do feel like the spirit of what folk music is storytelling and expressing these kind of specific thoughts through lyrics. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing at least I really love about it. So that's what I'm going to carry forward. But yeah, and I hope it feels fresh.
Yeah, Jack White said that in an interview. I think it was with Conan, that like you can't just make the same music forever.
Totally. Totally.
And he definitely makes rock and roll, but it's more unique than like it's
Absolutely.
different. It's his own, just like a little different.
Absolutely, because I think like my favorite artists have put out records that I didn't get maybe initially, or made a move where I'm like, why are they going this way? Well, if you really like the artist, you like the way they think, and you want them to be making what they're excited about making, and not just trying to be like, well, people expect me to be this, so I guess I'll make this record. Like, that'd be so disappointing if I heard my favorite record was made that way. Mm-hmm. Where they're like, I don't know, I thought people really liked when I did this, so you know,
it again.
That I just did it again. That's not very inspiring.
No, for sure. So, okay, that brings me to a question. Who are your favorite folk artists? But that can be a broad spectrum.
Okay. Can I say my favorite artists? Mm-hmm. Is that cool? I really love Donovan Woods. I always mention him first because I'm working with the same producer, because I love Donovan Woods so much. I was like, who makes his records? I need to find this person. So he's definitely someone I think does it so beautifully. Gregory Alan Isakov, as I mentioned before, all of Justin Vernon's stuff is really great. Obviously, Bon Iver is like the most popular stuff, and it's fantastic. But I've been listening to a lot of stuff. I've been listening to like Dirty Projectors, I think are fantastic. McGee is an incredibly gifted guitar player and visionary of sound. So those are kind of the artists that have been in my lexicon. I've been listening to a lot of like Brian Eno instrumental stuff too. So yeah, those are the big ones right now in my universe, I'd say.
Do you like Passenger?
Yes. So when I started out, a giant Passenger fan, and I'm saying this not because I don't like Passenger now. I just don't listen to it as much anymore.
As you used to.
Yeah.
He's one of probably like top 5 artists for me.
Oh yeah, beautiful. Like lyricist, incredible.
He's put out an album every year for a decade.
Insane.
And the stuff is so good. He's one of those like rare artists where I know more songs of his than not. Like, you know what I mean? Like I know the words to more than not of his songs.
I think the last record I really got into is that We Don't Need to Whisper, and I loved that record a lot. And then after that, I don't know. I just kind of I didn't connect with it, but it's still really good.
He puts out too many. That's
it. But there's something cool about that because he has his own universe. You know, he's got his Marvel universe of tracks, and he's like a famous busker as well, right? Mm-hmm. So that was another thing I did when I started out. Is first thing I did was go to Europe and busk around a little bit, because again, I heard the Passenger story, and I'm like, that seems like a really good place to like hone your chops and write songs, and get immediate feedback. So yeah, I just thought that was the coolest thing ever for how long he was known as a busker. It's so cool.
it seems like just listening to his work, like he writes music for him. He does not write music to make money.
Totally.
He got he didn't get lucky because all his songs are amazing. But he had that massive crazy hit, which is "Let Her Go," which is probably like one of the top 100 songs of all time.
Yeah, 100%.
Which is probably nice for him because now he has the money.
Yeah,
to
fund his project.
Exactly.
Man. That's exactly it. And he's not trying to be like, well, let me make "Let Her Go" Part 2.
Never,
because that would be so lame, right? If he and it would be transparent. I think you'd know right away. He's like, oh, he's trying to get another one of those, and it's the same that Gregory Alan Isakov artist. He got one of his songs was in a McDonald's commercial, and I think that funded the rest of his kind of career, where he's like, okay, I got that, now I can just keep making. And it was a great song. It wasn't that it was a pop song or anything. And then I heard later that he actually donated that money, I think, to farmers that he made from the McDonald's commercials.
No way.
So I was like, damn, that's a baller move. Pretty cool.
But Passenger was on tour with Ed Sheeran. I think he's done a few with him. Yeah. He opens up.
Yeah.
Ed Sheeran definitely respects a good
songwriter.
Yeah.
Good songwriter who can. He's a great guitarist as well, which is, I think, kind of slept on sometimes. And lyrically, there's nobody better at making you cry than that dude. Like, Driving to New York, that song, oh my God, crushes me. I used to cover that one, and just it's how I learned how to make a room quiet, was playing that song.
Yeah,
because the room can't keep talking in a song that good if you do it well, and taught me how to kind of write those kind of songs.
Yeah, that's awesome. Do you finger pick a lot, or do you play?
Yeah, I'm almost entirely finger picking. Yeah, I think in the new one, there's one I play with a pick, and that's like a first for me.
Really?
As far as this stuff, I play in a lot of other acts and stuff with guitar picks, but for me, it's always, I just feel like I can articulate more. It feels more like what a piano would be or something, and I really enjoy that.
That makes sense.
Man.
How old were you when you started playing music?
I was 8 years old.
Guitar first?
Yeah, I got guitar and an electric guitar for Christmas. My brother convinced my family to get me a guitar because I would always be picking up hockey sticks and stuff and pretending to play guitar. And I was obsessed with music. My brother had a big collection of CDs and albums, and I'd always be up there just thumbing through, listening to Kiss, listening to anything I could find in there that looked cool. So yeah, I was 8 years old, and then I started. I took lessons. I was fortunate enough to get lessons, and I just haven't stopped.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, where's your favorite place to play in Windsor? Windsor.
In Windsor. I love playing Fog Lounge. I think it's important to have a space like that in a city for art to live. There needs to be a spot where there's no TVs on the wall. It's a venue. No one's also watching the hockey game in that spot. And it's wild in there. You don't know what you're going to walk into. It could be a poetry night. It could be any measure of things. And that chaos feels really great. So like, for example, like Gardens has already played on an open mic because we went there and I wanted to see if the band works. So there's a place I can roll up to on Monday night and bring the band and go, is it cool if we just hop up and practice real quick? And Tom's like, yeah, of course. So that's a spot I like hitting in the city. It's important.
So this Project Gardens, you do have a band.
Yes.
How many people?
Right now it's 3, but it's going to be ever changing. There's a lot of female vocals on the new record.
Cool.
And a female vocalist will be involved as well. There's a lot of great ones. It all just depends on the gig, but the core of it is 3. And the arrangement is obviously myself, guitar and singing. I have Bradley Merrifield on bass, and then Dan Sainamore, who is actually a producer. So he will be like triggering samples and playing synth. So again, it's kind of like a weird fusion of folk and electronic or producer music, and it's an experiment. Like, I'm not kidding when I said I have to see if this works. I didn't know if it works, so yeah, but it does, I think. We'll find out if other people think so.
And it's just the 3 of you?
That's right.
When you say 3, you included yourself.
I included myself, that's right. Yeah.
No, is there drums on this record?
Now, that's another thing. There are live drums, and I'm looking forward to having a release, and the great Kyle Bondi, he's a local drummer who's amazing. He's going to be playing with the band as well.
Cool.
The only reason I don't tour with the drummer right now is I'm excited about the idea of going into spaces that usually don't have drums.
Yep.
And putting on a show where there are drum energy beats happening. I know it's very different than a live drummer playing. There's something so beautiful about that. But there's something interesting about these sequenced drum machine parts being triggered as well, and what that brings in a tight, intimate space.
When does the record come out?
So the record will be coming out in August. The first single is coming out June 6th.
Okay.
And it's called Drive, and I'm very excited about it. So that's the music is on the horizon, coming very, very soon.
And when are you doing this East Coast? Is that the first tour with this group, like legit?
So they're gonna. It's kind of a half and half tour, I'd say. It's not even that. 3/4 solo and then a quarter band.
Okay.
So I'm going all the way to the East Coast. My first gig is June 7th, so the day after the single drop. So I'm going to drive out there. Those are a bunch of solo gigs, and then when I'm coming back through Ontario, the band's going to come meet me, and we're going to play kind of our way home.
Are you playing all your new stuff on this tour? Like, is this for the new record?
It is, but I'm not going to lie. There's going to be some old material that I think is going to get in there, because I really am trying to do a good job of being intuitive in myself and being like, what do I feel like playing tonight? And I'm going to be honest about that. And you know, the beauty is it's my material. I can put it in, and it exists now again in this mode because I'm in this mode, and now I'm playing it. So yeah.
How long is this tour? How long are you going for?
It's a full month, so I don't get back till the 30th.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fun.
It will be very, very fun. I did this 2 years ago, something similar, but someone else helped me book it. This is the first one I booked myself. So
okay.
We'll see.
You're just, how far are you going?
All the way, like Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, all the way out that far.
That's pretty far.
Yeah, it's pretty far. 19-hour drive, yeah.
What's the longest stretch you're doing at once drive-wise? Are you going out there and then starting?
Yeah. I had a show originally in Ottawa, but something fell through to kind of break it up. But yeah, I'm going to drive probably to around Montreal. So I got almost like 2 9s in a row, 2 9-hour days of driving in a row. It's a lot of driving, but I love driving, so it's
you do, yeah.
I love it absolutely.
What do you do while you drive?
Oh, that's where I catch up on all the wonderful podcasts and all the wonderful books and albums people have been telling me to listen to that I haven't had time to get to.
Yeah,
I love it.
It's good if you're into a book because the drive can like fast forward like that.
Heck yeah, there you go. That's like 4 hours, like gone, easy peasy. So I'm really excited about that, and I'm actually going to be starting something on my my Instagram and my website of just recommendations. I really want gardens to kind of feel a little bit, I don't know, like a community if I can. And my favorite combos I get into with people at shows is when we start talking just recommendations. Like, have you seen this movie? Have you listened to this record? Have you heard this podcast? That's how I get all the information. And I love the idea of just kind of sharing that as well. So everyone would be like, hey, this is a spot. If you come to my page, there'll be a little section where like, these are just cool things people have told me to check out. You should maybe check them out too.
Yeah, no, that's super cool. When you release the record, do you have a plan for like the release show?
So some of it is still getting filled in, but it will be in August. The record comes out on the 15th. The show will be on the 16th. And I have a lot of plans that I don't want to talk about and jinx yet, but all I can say is that I want it to be different than just an average show. I want to kind of showcase not just myself, but how much I think our community in Windsor has grown in the last years, because I really do feel like it's always been secretly good, but now it's at that bubble where it's going to become undeniably good, I think, and unignorable, because the people we have in town now working, yourself included in this, I'm so excited by them. I'm so excited by the passion I see and the kind of art that's being made. So I want to showcase that on this release too.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you're gonna bring in some other stuff.
Yeah, like there's so many mediums that are going in this city. There's amazing visual artists. There's amazing photographers. There's so much art, and I understand that music, we have an advantage. We have somewhere to show it off. We play shows. We release records. And it's harder for a visual artist or a sculptor to kind of get that, I think. So I want to try and start integrating that in my shows.
Do you have a venue in mind for this or no?
I do, but it's booked, unfortunately. So I'm back to the drawing board looking around. But perhaps I'm learning in this process of planning that you can look at that as an obstacle and a disappointment, or an opportunity for creativity and an opportunity to find something unconventional, which is what I'm going to do.
So are you self-putting out this record? Are you on a record? Yeah.
So it's all under me. And I work with the Soul City Music Co-op, obviously, as well. But yeah, the record is under my Gardens label.
What is the co-op? What is that about?
So, I think, speaking of the Windsor scene, I think the only thing that that occurs in scenes that are booming a little bit more is a little more community with each other, where we're hanging out, we're talking, we're doing collaborative projects. I see that a lot. Going up and working in Toronto and even in London and those other scenes, and it kind of the sum becomes greater than the parts if we can all come together and add together. So I liked the idea when Mike and Chrissy reached out about Soul City Music Co-op, of us all just showing our cards. It's so valuable as a musician to be like, I worked with this marketing company or whatever. They were not worth the money. Don't do it. We could save each other a lot of work and advance forward way quicker just by sharing and cross-promoting each other. And I really think that's a beautiful thing. And the larger scale we can do that, the more we can think as all of us are Windsor artists, let's have each other's back, the quicker the scene will grow, I think.
Yeah, for sure. No, I 100% agree. It's best to just work with other people.
Totally.
Nobody's competition.
That's why, at least for me, that's why I got into the arts, is like, I don't like the feeling of competition.
Yeah.
And having to beat somebody. I love the idea of someone else's success is not my failure. It's my success too. Mm-hmm. That's really nice.
The closest podcast of mine is YQG and Bloom. Mm-hmm. And we came out around a similar time. Tracy was before me, but it was still like within a year, I think.
Totally.
I had her on mine. She had me on hers.
It's beautiful.
It's just like,
it's so
much better.
It's so beautiful. And because there being another podcast just makes your podcast better, because it's like, oh, there are podcasts happening.
Yeah.
That are cool.
Yeah.
And I think comedians, I don't know if you're into any of that, but like comedians did a good job of kind of showcasing that community idea of like, let's go on each other's podcasts, let's promote each other's tours, let's be friends and hold each other up. Mm-hmm. And bring each other up. That is so important. It's so important. There's enough people trying to keep you down. You don't need other people in the industry doing it.
Yeah, like people aren't fans of just one. Like they can enjoy a bunch of things. Yeah. You might as well just work together.
And it makes me like somebody better if they show me someone else that I then enjoy. It's like, oh, I like your tastes too. Like it's a win-win all around. So I'm happy to see it happening. And that's a good example with a podcast.
Yeah. And this podcast, that's the whole point of this podcast, is to just like,
man.
Well, the whole point of this podcast is I just like talking to people that are interesting in the city.
Cool.
And it just helps me like connect with so many different people. And like, I don't know, I can't text everybody and be like, hey, you want to come over and talk for an hour? For no reason?
Totally. It's a good excuse to make a conversation. And like, it kind of has that like sheen of productivity or something on it, which is really cool. When did it become, I'm sure again you were sitting on the idea of a podcast would be sick. What shifted it into like, yeah, I'm gonna do it for real?
I was sitting on it probably for like a year, kept going back and forth. Why did I do it?
Yeah, I switched the table on you here.
I don't remember what pulled the trigger. I think
Funny.
It was time for the grant, the Arts Culture Heritage Fund.
Yep.
Was it ACHF? Is that what it is? It was another round was coming up for the winter. And I was like, you know what? Okay, let's just apply for the podcast. Because I had gotten the grant the year before for a book I put out.
Yep.
So I was like, you know what? Let's just do this podcast. And then I started like putting the grant together. And then I was like, oh yeah, now I'm excited. I'm just going to do it. So like, as I was doing the grant, I bought everything anyway.
Amazing. Did you get the grant?
No, but it didn't matter.
That's so lovely.
It didn't matter because I already bought everything. Because I was so stoked on it, like writing up the thing.
Because you have to hype yourself up in the grant, right?
Yeah.
And like, you have to be like, this is going to be sick. And I can almost picture you typing it and then being like, yeah, this is going to be sick. Hold on. Yeah, I'm right. I'm just going to go do it. That's so great, man. That's such a good story. I love that.
For the grant, I also had to like put everything I needed. So I had to do research on like what mic do I want? And then I was like, I had my list and I was like, fuck it, and I just bought it all and then that was it.
And I think that's such a good example of like setting a deadline for a creative project. In that case, the grant facilitated a deadline for you to have your ideas together and research it. Mm-hmm. If you didn't have a deadline, you probably would have like, I'll research a little bit next week and a little bit here. Like, it's so easy. I'm not putting these behaviors on you. I would do that.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And put stuff off and spread it out and not have that like intensity of like, I just did all this in within a week or whatever, and I got to go do it now. Like there's momentum now.
Yeah.
It's so great.
Being a professional photographer and videographer makes it very easy for me to do this though. Like I already edit audio for work. I know how to do it.
Yeah.
The most expensive, like these things aren't that expensive.
Totally.
It's the camera that's expensive.
Of course.
Which I obviously already have. It's like I already had the expensive things, or it definitely wouldn't be a video one.
Right.
Like the lens is more than everything on this table. You know 100%. What I mean?
Yeah, that's right. But like you said, like you'd already had a lot of the pieces. So it was like just this last little piece of like intention or something behind it of like, yeah, I'll just get some microphones and let's do this.
And I did go to journalism. Like I went to college for journalism.
Oh, cool.
So I do have a background in like interviewing people.
Great. Great. And yeah, I can tell you're just somebody who likes conversation and chatting.
I think curiosity is the most important thing.
100%. That is very, very important, because anyone talking passionately about anything is interesting, right? Like if they're really, really into it, it's always fascinating, even if you don't know what exactly they're talking about.
A lot of the times when I pick a guest, I'll be out and I'll see them perform or do their thing, or I'll run into them, and then I'll be like being in person obviously inspires you, of course, and then I'll just ask them kind of on the spot or come across them on Instagram and I was like, oh, that's cool. And what's nice about the podcast is I can be like, now I get to learn more about you.
Absolutely.
In like a productive way.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not just like, hey, come over and we'll talk more. Like that totally makes sense. And when last time I toured out east, I went to go see just a friend of a friend who I'd never really met, and we started chatting, and he had a podcast, and we were just sitting, shooting the shit, having a beer. And then he's like, time out. Let's just go do this as a podcast together. And it was just this wonderful happenstance. Like, oh yeah. And we both got something made really nice, and we got to have a really nice conversation, share that conversation. It's really beautiful, man. I love podcasts.
Yeah, they're super fun.
Yeah,
they're pretty easy. I don't know, it's a good time.
Oh, I'm glad that you enjoy as much as, like, because for musicians, and I think I can speak for a lot of different mediums of art, it's like you need these kind of mouthpieces. Like, this is such an important part of the big puzzle, is that there's somewhere you can go just chat about it. Yeah. And that there's an art form that is just about that. It's really cool.
I'm not going to lie, probably over like the last year, because the podcast is just over 2 years now, I don't think I've checked the views on any episode.
Oh, that's such a good way to be. That's such a good way to be.
I don't even care anymore. I'm just like, whether nobody listens, it's fun for me.
100%. And I do think this is something that I've been thinking about a lot, actually, with this release coming up, is like, there are these vanity metrics that don't translate to real world. And I think it's becoming really obvious now, because everyone I talk to, even when I'm talking to marketing companies and like distro companies about music, it's less and less about like how many numbers, because I think they're realizing numbers do not equate to actual engagement and sticky fandom. Like, there are bands with millions of streams and can't fill a room when they go play in real world. So it's like, the most important thing is real doing. You're doing it. You're making this podcast. You're doing it consistently, and you're engaged to do it the best way you could do it. Same with the music, and then go play. Go have real conversations with real people. That's where like metrics come back from. Like, I did this name changeover, and I'm not gonna lie, like when I did it digitally, I wasn't feeling good, because I had to go through and delete all my old posts. And it's emotional. There's a lot of stuff, a lot of history there.
Did you archive them or delete them?
I archived some of the important ones and then deleted the others. Okay. I didn't want to be a digital hoarder. And it was sad. And then you put it up, and even just the form of like, okay, I got likes. It's like, cool. You're always just looking for another new like, and you're not engaged with who's liking it. You're just trying to collect them like Pokemon or something.
Yeah.
And it doesn't give you that feeling, or at least for me, and I think a lot of people, it just doesn't give you that like feedback you want internally. Whereas I went then that night and played a show in Toronto, a secret show to kind of launch the name, and I got to have real people there. And then I was like, yeah, I did the right thing. This feels amazing. So I think you're all to say in a long-winded way, that's so good that that's not what you're using as the metric of your success or not, is the views.
Yeah.
Because, like, I don't know, artists are here, artists are talking about you. That seems important.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you love it, I don't think anybody cares what they get. They just like to do it because you love it, right?
Exactly. And making sure it's like real people you go see that you can high five are engaged with what you're doing. That's important.
For sure. What was your recording process like for this record? Where did you record?
So, as I said, I chased down this producer, James Bunton. He's originally from Toronto, and now he just recently moved up to Prince Edward County. A lot of Torontonians are kind of migrating in and around the surrounding areas. And he's really great because he's almost shifted into like a mentor, I'd say, for me. He's very good at making sure that I'm following. I define my intentions and I follow them. He'll use my own words to measure if I'm doing a good job. Where he'll be like, you said the intention of this song is this. This line, why is that line honoring what you said? And that having somebody checking you on that kind of garbage can be frustrating, but so important. So the process for this record was us meeting weekly. We have Zoom meets. I write usually a song a week maybe, and submit it. He listens, and then on the weekend we chat about it. And I am fortunate enough, like a lot of musicians these days, I have a studio in my basement that I get all my demoing done. And sometimes some of those tracks make it on the record. Once the process, though, of the writing is done, I go up. He just built this new studio in Prince Edward County, and I went up and tracked it there. And it was like a pretty early record for him, I think, as far as he built the studio, and then I came in and tracked. I don't want to say I was the first, but I'm definitely one of the earlier artists there. And it was definitely the first time I'd recorded in that setting, so it was great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was great.
So how many songs are on the new record? And
11 tracks.
Are they done yet or no?
Oh yeah. Everything's all done, sent to distro. It's all, she's all finished. You kind of need all those things now, months in advance. Mm-hmm. Like they want it at least 4 weeks out from the release. So, and it just feels good. Like the first thing I get done is the record, and then I kind of start piecing the rest together afterwards.
For sure.
Yeah.
Every time I make a book, I don't pick the release date until I get the big, there's my last boxes from my most current one. Like until those boxes are here with all the finished copies, then I book the release show.
Cause yeah, exactly right.
Cause I don't want to rush.
Right. Exactly. And like, I'll set a timeline in my head, like an arbitrary, like I had September, as the record comes out in September. Mm-hmm. This is one of those rare times where I actually beat it. So that's kind of nice. But I do have that looming deadline still, because I think that's important, or else if you have till forever to make a record, you're not going to make a record.
No, yeah, for sure.
So yeah, but then I make sure in that I consider the record has to be done, 4 months before rollout, I would say, mm-hmm. and then to feel comfortable.
What's the plan after August 16th?
So then after August, I'm going to I want to try and do a post-release single, which is not a typical thing. I think the old ways of single releases were better, which is the album was out and then they released singles. And there was a record to come back and fall into if you dug the single. Now everyone releases a single with a looming record coming. Mm-hmm. It's asking a lot of people to remember that, hey, that single you liked 3 months ago, now the record's out. I don't know. That seems backwards to me with how much people are having. It'd be nicer if the single came out and they could go, oh, I dig this artist. Oh, there's a full record out of this song. Great. So I'm going to try and do one post. It won't work the same way because the way distro works is like it has to be a new release to get on fresh finds and all that stuff. But I don't really care. I'm going to promote it like it's a new single after the record comes out. So cool. September, I'm going to give another focus track. And then post that, I'm very much looking forward to, I have so many ideas that are just waiting. Like a lot of finishing a record for me is so I can start the next record properly. Mm-hmm. I have a bunch of like song ideas I can't wait to actually give proper time to. So dive back into the next one.
Are you going to do a tour following the record?
Yeah, I definitely will. I think I'm going to do a big city tour that's shorter in August. There's a couple big cities I missed on this one. It just didn't work logistically. I'm kind of hitting the smaller towns around, which I'm very excited about. But I'd like to kind of hit the big ones, Montreal, Ottawa, Toronto. Hit a little run of those would be really, really nice in August.
What about the States?
That's on the docket as well. The challenge is I am planning the States for next summer because you need that long to get your visa.
Yeah.
At least. I just went through this with another act I play in, the Indiana Drones, and we did this rock boat that was in the States, and we got the visa the night before we had to go. So we were convinced we weren't going, and it came in just in the nick of time, and we had applied for that visa like 5 months ahead of the date.
Wow. The night before?
Yeah, we paid to expedite it and everything, and it showed in the night before. There's no rhyme or reason to how those visas seem to be working, and yeah, so it's a lot. And you need a residency. So, but yes, my eyes are set on the States. It's a hot button issue because, do I like everything they're doing right now? Absolutely not. But the unfortunate truth is, as an artist, it's much easier to tour America. I'm going to lose money on this tour, 100%. I have no illusions that that's not going to happen. There's too much driving with not enough venues. Mm-hmm. It's too hard. It's really hard to tour and make money in Canada, and that's unfortunate. We need more venues. Every small town needs to have a fog that people can go play. But I understand that we're not there yet. Mm-hmm. And gas is just too expensive. But in the States, you can drive an hour and have a new market, and that's very helpful.
Yeah, for sure. You can probably hit more venues in a 3-hour drive over there than you can hit in a.
It's exactly it. And there is something I can't put my finger on with show culture, where like more people seem to go, and I can't put my finger on what that is because Canada's full of art lovers and artists, and it just doesn't always translate. And it makes me wonder if it's like we've set our homes up in a way that we have a hard time leaving them or something. I'm not sure what it is exactly, but there's just more culture around going to show. And same, I did Europe before too, and it's like a weekday show is not a crazy thing. Whereas here again, people out to a weekday show in Canada, if you're not somebody, like no one's going to check out indie bands just for fun on a weekday, but that happens in the States and in Europe, I feel like. And
Canada's Canadians have very comfortable lives. Like I think during the week we like to just work and then come home and just relax at home, and everybody, that's just kind of.
Yeah, it's hard to say what it is, but you could be right. And I am also excited though, because I do think it's a country that's growing into that and will become that, especially now that the States is kind of making us find some Canadian pride and do not just go to the States for all the good stuff. Let's make the good stuff be here. And that I'm really excited to that, and I want to contribute to that and keep playing Canada. It's just I can't afford to do it. I need to go places where I can make a little bit as well. And be whole.
Yeah, it is kind of cool. I do like all the pride that's been following what's going on.
I love it because we're such a modest nation, that it's nice to see us kind of stand up for ourselves. And I very much in when I go play the States, it is a conflict internally, because it's like I don't want it to appear that it's like, oh yeah, I'm siding with the States. Like I'm Canadian through and through, and I love Canada. I love this country, and I'm very, very proud of who we are, and that we can travel places, and people love Canadians, and I like that.
I just wish we had one place that was hot all year. I would never go to the States again.
You nailed it. That's exactly right. It's us. Like we're the hottest place, right? Like
I guess like we're the hottest, but then Vancouver
is on average, right? Better. Yeah.
Doesn't get as cold.
That's right.
So it's like Windsor or out there.
That's right. But rainy out there, and not.
If you don't want to deal with like the stupid cold, go out there. But if you want like a solid 7 months of hot,
come here.
You got to come here.
That's it. You got it, man. You got it. It's a challenge, but I'm with you. And again, I think things are functioning best when just like the community here. I'm talking about. It's like as a world, obviously, if we could just be cool with each other and not make it where there's this. Our neighbors are are being unnecessarily prickly and hostile. Like, that's just not a way to behave.
I'm curious to see what happens now that we have a change in leadership, and well, especially now that that like the election's final and Carney is the prime minister, whereas he was kind of like, I guess, holding the spot for a month.
Right, and that's a weird limbo space to be in, and it's funny how much it charges people. Like someone had said to me, it's like you don't get to not be a political person. It's like everyone's a political person in some sense, even if you're disengaged from it. That's a political decision and whatnot. It's just funny how much that charges and affects the mood of the entire nation and people and the kind of conversations people are having. It's fascinating. I'm very curious to see what happens as it goes.
I don't really care which of the three political parties is doing what. I support Canadians, and
that's exactly it. And it's the same sort of thing. It's like, I think if you shrink your view into what's actually around you on a day-to-day, that's where you find the good stuff. It's like so many people who will talk to me for hours and hours about politics, can't tell me who's in charge of their writing. And it's like, that's the person who's affecting your life a lot. Like, you got to start there and the day-to-day. So yeah, I don't know. It just seems important.
City councilors are cool too because they don't belong to a political party.
Exactly. Yeah.
To vote on.
Yeah, but it's not as charged. So I think sometimes you're just in love. Like, people can be in love with the tribal, like, us versus them thing, and I don't think that's. I don't know. It just doesn't resonate with how I like to think.
For me, I'm on an issue to issue basis.
Exactly,
like, tell me what the issue is, and I'll tell you how I feel about it.
Exactly. Ideas. I wish we could just vote on ideas. But,
Yeah.
Look at us now trying to solve politics together. I can't even put together a month-long tour properly. So maybe also I will, say don't listen to me at all about my ideas, because there are people who are better trained. Smarter than I.
What other instruments do you play besides guitar?
So anything with strings, bass, ukulele, banjo. I suck at violin, but I can fake my way around it. Piano, same thing. I play piano like a guitar player, but I can play it. And then vocals, harmonica, all those kind of things. But I suck at drums. That's the fun fact. That's one that it just doesn't. I can't get going.
Yeah, it seems like it's a completely different thing.
Yeah. It feels like that when I get behind it. I know how rhythms work, but I don't know. I can't. These limbs just don't talk to each other very nicely, I guess.
Like a piano and a guitar, they kind of funnel together, right? Like you said, you can play a piano like a guitar.
It's a linear. It's actually, I have no qualms in saying it's a much more sensible instrument in that, like, one note just exists in one spot and it's in a straight line. High notes live here, low notes live there. You can really, like, the intervals are consistent. So piano makes a ton of sense, maybe the most sense.
What are the black keys? Are those sharps?
Yeah, those are all the accidentals, the sharps and the flats.
Okay.
Yeah. For example, then you want to play in C where there's no sharps or flats. Just play all the white keys. Done. It's like, that's a very sensible way to lay it out. Guitar is, because I teach as well, and guitar, as a device to teach theory, is not very good. It's just, there's a lot of, like, weird oddities.
Yeah, because you can play the same note up and down the neck a million different times, right?
Different ways. That's exactly right. Yeah, and it's like, even just it's tuned. This is really, like, nerdy, but, like, it's just tuned not consistently. Like, it's tuned in fourths and then randomly a third for one string and then back to a fourth again. And it's just, like, students will be like, why? And I'm like, good question. I'm not exactly sure. But it's how it is, and it makes the chord shapes feel nice, I guess.
What piano, is there different tunings like on a guitar, or is it just a piano?
Piano is just what it is, because it's the reason guitars need tunings is we have these weird notes that exist open, where you don't have to engage anything, right? Like, you just strum, and these E, A, D, G, B, E exist. So what becomes interesting, because guitar players think geometrically a lot, they're thinking in shapes while they're playing. So what makes open tunings cool is you now have it screws up all your geometry. All your shapes are different now. So it instigates creativity right away. You can't just go grab G, C, D. Everything's different now. So that's a really great tool. On top of that, you now have these new notes that are always there. I could be way up the neck, and I can hit a weird note because it's open. I don't need to physically get down there to play it. So if I change what that note is, it just opens up a world of possibility. Piano kind of starts there. You're limited just by what your hands can reach. But every note is accessible.
Okay.
So that's why tunings are such a string guitar thing.
Gotcha. Same with banjo and basses. They're different tunings too.
Yeah. Well, bass is like generally speaking the bottom the bottom four strings of the guitar, like the EADG.
Gotcha.
Is usually bass. But you can drop that, go into a drop tuning, or you can get 5-string basses or whatnot. So and then banjo is a different tuning. That one's a really wacky. I don't even understand really the 5th string on the banjo. That's another one that I kind of just fake around it. But I love it, man. There's something about just the way strings work to create music that just makes sense in my head. Mm-hmm. Like you're just shortening a string to make the note higher, and it's that simple.
When you play like a D chord, like an average basic D chord,
yep.
How do you mute the top 2 strings? Do you just not hit them, or do you like cover them with your thumb, or what?
I do a lot of blocking because I like my right hand to be free. But then with finger picking, you don't even have to worry about those things, right? Because you articulate exactly what you're looking for out of that shape.
You just hit which string. Yeah.
But when I'm strumming, I usually do a mix of blocking and then accuracy with the pick. I kind of like to double down.
That's where you just kind of like have one of the fingers touch that string. But
exactly. And I'm a thumb player, so it's always my thumb. And I like, my method is always risk management on the instrument. I am avoiding a mistake in usually 2 ways at all times if I can.
So when you strum a D chord, you do strum all 6 strings?
No. I'm because my right hand is still trying to articulate what I'm trying to articulate, and then I have the block as the safety net.
As I say, just in case you hit
unless there's an energy that's required where you're giving her, right? Like then it's all the block.
Interesting. Yeah, I can't really play.
I was going to ask, do you? Yeah. So, but you know enough to know D chord, and you're only supposed to strum 4 strings, so you've dabbled. Obviously.
I've dabbled. Yeah. Cool. I've always had guitars and stuff. I can like kind of play ukulele.
Cool.
But that's easy because you don't have to mute anything. You just get to always play all 4.
Not always. Not always.
I guess
there's some that you could, but I get what you're saying, like, where it's like there's not an extra 2 on the bottom.
Yeah,
totally.
Like all the basic like G, A, C, D, F is all 4, which is easy.
Yeah, and you can play a ton of songs with those, and it's accessible, right? It's very accessible. That's great.
Yeah, if I'm gonna play chords like that, like a ukulele is just easy for me. I can strum at full speed.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I have like the muscle memory. I strum with my first finger.
Oh, okay. Nice. No pick.
Yeah. No pick.
Yeah, that's great.
I don't know. I just learned how to do it with my first finger, and then I can do it.
Cool. Did you ever like have that moment when you were playing guitar of like, oh yeah, I want to be in a band, or was it always just something for fun for you?
No, I can only play like the only instrument that like if you show me a song and I can maybe do it is on a ukulele.
Cool.
So I've never really considered like.
Got it. It was just always that other nice escape, which I think is important as a creative person to have like another creative thing you do that's not what you do.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
The coolest thing for me was the first time I cannot sing at all, but the first time I played a song and sung it all the way through.
Oh yeah, that's a great feeling, isn't it?
That was cool.
Yeah, man. I see, and because I teach so much, I'm passionate about that too, and like just hearing like that kind of thing gets me really excited, like because it makes me remember the first time I sang through a song, and yeah, now I sing through songs all the time, but it's like you can't forget it's awesome to sing all the way from the beginning of the song to the end of the song and not make a mistake. Like that's a beautiful feeling. It's so amazing. So I know exactly what you're talking about, man. It's great.
Because when you first learn the instrument, all I'm saying in my head is up, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. And then to be able to sing lyrics now.
Yeah, dude. It's like, it's very much, you're doing a lot of things at the same time. So it's very much like you're spinning all these plates, and when you can get to the end and no plate fell and you're like, I did it. Like, what a celebration. It's so great. So great.
The first time I learned how to play, like I can sing Wheat Kings like by the hip all the way through. But
Canadiana, baby.
They switch in the middle of the, like it's like do, and then he switches to a C.
Yeah.
I think it goes from a G to a C. Yeah. That was so hard to learn how to sing.
While you're doing a switch.
While you're switching chords in the same like
in the mid phrase. Yeah, man. It's like for the people watching, like, people not watching. I'm rubbing my belly and tapping my head at the same time.
It took like a month to learn how to do that.
Yeah,
but then you can do it forever.
And it becomes addictive because then for me, guitar was the first thing that I played where I ran into an obstacle like that, and then beat it, and then I got the feeling like, oh, any obstacle that comes, I'll just do that. I'll just do that thing I did where like I kept doing it and eventually I got it. And it was the first time I felt like that about anything in my life where it's like, oh, if I just keep doing it, I'll get it. There's nothing I can't play. I'll be able to play anything. And I'd never had that kind of, I was always kind of like like a modest, insecure kid. So I never had that kind of confidence. And that was the first thing that gave me that. It's like, you just did that. You figured out F chord. You could do anything, man. And that's really nice.
Did you feel like nothing comes easy, but do you feel like it kind of came easy to you?
Yeah, it did. Yeah. It did. There was something that just, through whatever luck or genetic or whatever, it made sense. Mm-hmm. And I could do things quickly on it that I saw other people trying to play guitar and it wasn't coming as naturally to them. And that was a big advantage and then a big disadvantage at one point, because when things come naturally, sometimes you don't learn the background of what you're doing. It's always just something you've done. Mm-hmm. And then the first time you hit a hurdle that you have to break down, you don't know how to do it. You don't know how to break something down and learn it on that deep level, because it's everything up till there has been innate. Mm-hmm. So right at the middle of guitar playing, I'd say, like of learning guitar, I hit a big roadblock plateau, and it took me a while to break through it, to learn how to learn it. But I was so in love with it at that point that I was willing to kind of sit down and do it.
Yeah, no, I feel like that with a lot of things, and then not like others. Like I build my own picture frames, for example.
Oh, very cool.
And when I started building frames, it came like the first frame I built like was worked.
Oh, amazing.
And like, I just came up with like the concept in my head, built it worked. Like, it's always been easy for me. Mm-hmm. But then the first time I like tried to do something different or whatever, and it was hard, it's like, oh my God, you know?
It sucks. And it's like, there's always that, like, maybe I'm not supposed to do it because I'm so bad at it. Right.
Yeah.
And it's nice that, like, building a frame, it's nice when something gives you a nice introduction where it's gentle with you the first time, you know, it's like, no, you did it. Look at that frame. Looks dope. Good job. Do more. And that's like that's the recipe for obsession, which
for sure.
I see on the amount of frames you've done. I think you enjoy it and you continue to do it. I'm gonna guess.
I think I've built over 1,000.
Yeah,
that makes sense. I've been building them for 10 years, so yeah.
That's really interesting to me. Okay. This actually segues real nice, and it's gonna feel like we constructed this. But a big reason I picked the name Gardens is I think anything that you kind of isolate from its surroundings and care for and have intention behind and frame as separate from its environment is a garden. The idea of like taking something that like is there's the infinite around you and then just forcing a perspective in a small thing via a frame makes you pay attention and it makes you engage with, you've given barriers now for me to like focus in on. So I think the frame itself being the part of the art you make is so cool, man. It's so very, very cool.
I like having a tactile element to my work where photography, especially digital photography, is not tactile.
Of course. It's a lot of clicking.
It's all just digital.
And bright lights in your eyes at night. And yeah, there's none of you're not working with your hands.
So it's nice to work with your hands.
I get that. That makes sense. And when you're making a frame, do you go in, obviously the sizing you have determined, you need all that. Do you go in knowing like what is your intention? Is there like a feel you're going for? Is there a color scheme? What are you thinking when you're making one?
So like these ones, that's like my standard frame. I just make that if I'm building something for like a client, like if somebody wants a frame, I do that one.
That's the go-to.
If I have like a bestseller like that, it just goes in there. Everybody likes that one the most. It's basic. It's easy. Everybody likes that. It sells.
Yeah. But also looks made, like doesn't look bought. Like it looks like someone took time and did something.
Exactly. Really cool. But when I do weird ones like
that was the one that caught my eye.
That one. Or even like that thin one that's like built out of oak wood. Mm-hmm. So it's like way harder to like work with and cut. Or if you look behind you, that white one.
Oh yeah, what kind of wood is that?
That's the same wood as that. Just the way I worked it and
worked it different.
See, like I did that to go with the picture.
Gotcha.
Like that matches the picture.
Beautiful. So you're considering what's going to go in the frame when you're making the frame?
It's all about the picture that's going in it. And then the frame gets built to the picture. I don't have a lot of crazy ones on the wall at the moment, but it's always,
I love it though, man. It's a very cool medium. And that one caught my eye, obviously, because it's really engaging.
Sometimes I just go nuts and just like beat the shit
I
out of
would be, if I was your customer, I'd be intrigued in seeing more of that, of you going nuts. And what that, I feel like there's something about that one that reads like in the time of just having a conversation with you. I'm like, oh yeah, I see you in that.
I have one over. Thank you. I have one over there. You can't really see it.
Is it the one blocked by the
thing?
Yeah, that looks very cool too.
So I have like a piece of brown paper, and I took like rose petals.
Okay.
And rubbed them on the paper, and then I burned the outside of the picture, like the print.
Very
and
cool.
Glued it to the paper.
Looks great. Yeah. Really, really cool, man. Really, really cool.
Yeah.
You've got a lot of things you do, and I think that's so yeah. Will you kind of like, when one is frustrating you jump to the other, or do you like work for months just on one medium and then go to another? How does that?
For me, it's kind of like, I know it feels like a bunch of different things, but it's just one umbrella and it's all under photography. The frame is just like the last process of the of the thing.
I got you. So you work in prints a lot, then, would you say?
Yeah.
Cool. That's good. I like that. I like a photographer I work with who's fantastic, Travis Latham. He did an art show in Kingsville, and I loved it. I wish more of you. This is my seed dropping here. I wish more of you would do shows where you show these beautiful. You work so hard, and like, it's a great environment and there's no pressure. It's really just come hang out while the stuff I made is on the wall, and let's talk about it and have drinks. And like, I really loved that night and what he did. And so that's me. This is me encouraging you. Hopefully have a show one time.
Yeah.
With your frames and everything. It'd be amazing.
I try to have about a show a year.
Oh, look at me. I'm not paying attention. It's my own fault. Invite me next time.
All right. I will. Yeah. I did, like, the last few years, all my shows have been based around like the books I've put out.
Cool.
Rather than just like me doing whatever.
Yeah, because you write as well.
Yeah, but the books are mostly, the first book had words and photos.
But now the rest are mostly photos.
Just photo book.
Love
Yeah,
it.
so the books or the shows have been just the work from the book.
The releases, yeah. That's great.
But I like to throw collaborative shows with other artists.
Cool.
Where I just have like 20 artists, they can put whatever they want in.
Love it.
And then I take a section and put whatever I want in.
Love that.
Just completely random.
Very cool. But again, collaboration is so cool and such an important part of making stuff that it's easy to skip.
Yeah.
That's great, dude.
Sure.
Very, very cool, man.
Do you do any other art?
So I've been really dabbling with like sketching.
Cool.
I've enjoyed that because I'm jealous when I hear like visual artists talk about the way musicians will be like, he's got a good ear. I've heard visual artists and particularly people who illustrate go like, oh, like their vision, their way of seeing things is really good. And that fascinates me because I've never thought of that, but it's like, oh yeah, of course, when they look at the same thing I'm looking at, they're seeing the shapes. They're breaking it into shapes and light source. And this is the way that when I listen to a song, I'm thinking of the chord changes and the keys and those kind of more nuanced details. I know I'm never going to be great or whatever, but it's really fun to do. And I love the idea of at least being able to have some sensibilities of the nuanced world that exists and have a couple conversations with people much smarter than me about it.
Yeah. do you find, and I find this too, with every, like as a creative person, I'm into something new all the time. But the only thing I care about that I do well in is photography. I don't care how good I am at any other hobby I do, but I have to be like not the best. I don't know how to describe it.
That's the one where it's like, that's what I'm built for a little bit. And I think, what's also important is like, nothing is always like, there's always room for change. Like that might not always be the case, but I know that feeling and I agree. That's how I feel about music as well. Music is what I do. Yeah. But I love making. I love making stuff. So, I'll always try different ways of making things too.
Do you find that when you try something new, for having mastered a craft, for me, I don't know if it's like this for you, but I'm like, I'll never be good at anything ever because I know how much work I've put into photography and how, I don't know, good you've gotten at it. And there's still so much I don't know.
Totally.
That I know that with every other thing I do, I'll never
Isn't
be
that beautiful?
good. Yeah.
Isn't that what's great about it? Because
It
it would suck to find the end, to find the edge and be like, all right, that's it. I figured it all out. And I think that's where ultimately video games can give you like kind of this thing. But when I'm talking to my students and trying to encourage them to play a little less video games and play guitar more, it's that video games all have an edge. You beat the game. Like, yeah, you can go online, play with your buddies. Like, that's really, really fun. But like, as far as growth goes, it is finite. Whereas
That's a great quote. Yeah.
yeah, photography and music and like I think any of those true activities, they're endless. And the more, like you said, it's a trap. The better you get, the more you know you're not good.
It's true.
It is crazy, right? So, but that's what's addictive. Yeah. That's why it's so addictive.
And that's like, I never want to like pick something like photography's like, that's what I do. And that's what I've chosen to do with my life. And I don't think I can ever change that because I know of how much work it takes to actually get, like anytime I do something, I'm like, oh, I'm pretty good at this. And I'm like, no, I'm fucking not.
Totally. But what's cool about creative stuff, and this is just Steelman on the other side, is that like also being good doesn't always mean making something that resonates.
For sure.
Like there are people who are like, I don't know, like sometimes someone who doesn't play guitar at all, there's an opportunity for them to come in and approach the instrument differently, because as you learn too, you also learn habits and techniques that sometimes get in the way of being creative, because you're like, well, I have to do it this way. I was taught. And as soon as have to is in there, it can really be a detriment to being creative. So someone coming in who doesn't know what the hell they're supposed to do, yeah, a lot of it will be garbage, but there's this lottery chance that they do something innovative and brilliant.
Yeah.
So in that sense, you have that opportunity too, and I'm talking to myself too. Who knows? Maybe try this new medium and you do something that you find a voice in. I think it's more about finding a voice. And right now I would say your voice probably feels represented when you take photos. My voice, I definitely feel like is represented when I'm making music.
Singing or playing guitar?
Playing guitar first.
Yeah.
I'm more of a guitarist than I am a singer for sure. Okay. Definitely.
I don't want to say singing, writing. So like the poetry aspect or the guitar?
Okay. I think still guitar, but it's a tighter margin because I've always, before I played music, I wanted to be an author. I wanted to write.
Okay.
So I love the writing. I love the songwriting. Like songwriting is so fun. It's so beautiful and frustrating, and I love it. I think everyone should try and write a song at some point in their life. It's so fun to do, and it doesn't matter. Like they're all like the first song you're gonna write is gonna be bad. So just do it. Who cares? Who cares?
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. So like when you're like look into your soul and you're trying to express yourself, it's the guitar, then the lyrics,
guitar,
or do you think it goes together and it's one thing?
As far as like what I express myself better in, you think?
Yeah, like what is your medium? Like what are you expressing yourself the most with?
I feel like guitar I can tap into something on guitar that I don't have to. I'm less imitative on the guitar. I feel freer because I feel more free to express, and therefore I think I express better on the guitar. Songwriting, still, there's always a battle of fighting the insecurity that everyone has when they're writing that makes you imitate stuff. I need somebody checking me and making sure that I'm always doing what I mean to do. On guitar, I'm better at doing that.
Yeah.
So that's where it's a different experience. Songwriting, I actively have to keep at bay this thing that kills good art. And guitar, I still have to, but not as much, and I'm better at doing it intuitively without thinking.
I was gonna say like the guitar is like a when you're playing it, it's just like a piece of your body.
Yeah, I spend more hours, just in the way that I've laid my life out, I spend more hours in a day with a guitar in my hands than without a guitar in my hands.
Wow.
Because when I'm teaching in the morning, I have a guitar in my hands. I come home and I work on my stuff. 90% of the time, guitar's in my hands. Then I teach from 4 to 8 every day in the week, private lessons. Guitar's in my hands the entire time. So it's an extension of my body at this point. Like it doesn't feel like I'm holding a foreign object anymore.
Yeah, that's like me with a camera too.
Yes, and I'd imagine that would have to be the case. It's an extension of your eye via your arm. Yeah. And like when you look, like what I was describing, when you look at stuff, you were probably framing it.
Yeah.
You can't help it, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I love that stuff.
I always like seeing a picture, but sometimes I can shut it off.
Right.
But when I'm out like on a photo walk,
yeah,
I'm definitely more intuitive to like everything because I'm looking for the picture.
Right.
But when I'm just normally walking around, like it has to be like really good to like catch me.
Right.
I guess.
But it'll catch you.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
If it's good, it'll catch you. And I think that's so great because like the thing you do changes the way you experience life all the time for the better, I would say, right? Sometimes maybe it's annoying and you would rather, like you said, sometimes you got to turn it off. And like, you know, if I'm in a restaurant and the live musician playing isn't very good, that's a time I wish I could turn it off and not hear that the D string's out of tune. He's really good. Then it's a bit annoying, but it's for the most part, it's a win. I think doing something and then being like, when you're out in the world, it affects how you take it in. It's cool.
That's what I love about photography in this art form is, like to gather inspiration as a musician or as a painter, you should go out in the world and live to make your work, right? Like go write a song in a field or under a mountain. Absolutely. As a photographer, you have to though.
Yeah. Yeah. You can't pretend you weren't there. That's such a good point.
Yeah.
I can pretend I'm under a waterfall or whatever. That's so true. There's your tactile part, I suppose. Mm-hmm. You know, you're physically standing in the space you're capturing and it's an important part of what you're expressing. And that's very cool, man. Very, very cool.
I love that there is the aspect where I can do art at home though. So like I have to go shoot there, but the second half to the art is the editing of it. Totally. The printing of it, the framing of it.
Totally. And I think music technology has come a long way and allowed musicians to experience that now too, where every musician I know has a home studio. Because it's just, this stuff is affordable now. Mm-hmm. And it's really great. It doesn't mean we're all really great at doing it. And I definitely do believe that engineers are valuable. People who actually, this is their trade, is recording. They're very, very valuable. But you can get a lot done yourself these days with recording as well. And that's such a great thing for creating.
Yeah, this is professional quality audio, and these mics are $100 each, and this board's like $600.
Yeah,
and that's all you need.
There you go, right? Like under $1,000, and you're up and running. Like that's insane. That's crazy talk. You go back in time to like the 70s, and you tell a working musician at that time, like, hey, you're just gonna have all this stuff in your house for like very cheap.
Yeah, or like a radio DJ who like loved going into like a C-jam type thing, But
absolutely, man.
But now you don't have to. You can just do it at home.
Yeah. Well, podcasts wouldn't be possible back then because it's like you need this to be portable and accessible for every person, right? And you know, I know a lot of people say, well, yeah, it makes a lot of saturation because making is so easy. There's a lot of making, but I don't know. Good problem to have.
The good ones still come out.
Yeah, and it's on the listener now. You got to do a little work to find the good stuff, but it's out there. It has to be. Look how much there is.
Yeah,
it can't all be bad.
And there's definitely more good stuff than there was before. Like
100%.
Maybe before everything was good.
Yep.
Most things were good.
Yeah. And I also think you were presented with what was good, where there were gatekeepers, there were radio stations, there were things that people being like, this is what's good. Now, those are archaic feeling. Like, I don't know anyone who's like, oh, I found my artist via just listening to the radio. Like, it's most of the time it's Spotify algorithm playing you like artists, and you find somebody that way. Mm-hmm. So there's the opportunity for niche art is like way up because there's outlets for it now.
I love that too. Like every artist, like it's like even in the 90s, like where would you have been able to talk about your art for an hour?
Nowhere. And I love this because this is the stuff like that I listen to, and I look forward to kind of backtracking on your podcast and catching up on that 19-hour drive. So this is the kind of stuff that I know I need as somebody who likes drive, who's on the road a lot. And also, you know, like it's when I'm doing lawn work or whatever, I love just hearing people have a conversation about something I care about.
Are you going to listen to ours or no?
I don't know. I did listen the last time I did a podcast, but
the whole thing?
No, not the whole thing. After a while, I'm like,
behavior.
Yeah, it is a little bit, isn't it? And what happens to me is like, you know, it's weird. When I'm singing, I'm less critical of my voice, but when I'm talking, I do get the feeling of like, why is anyone friends with me with a voice like that when he talks?
I just like, people are like, you don't listen to them back, and I was like, listen to a conversation I already had? No, I don't do that.
That's such a very real way of that. That's exactly what it is. Yeah.
I listen to it to edit it.
Sure.
I'm not listening to this thing from start to finish.
Yeah.
I'm going to put it on for a couple minutes in the middle while I get the levels correct or whatever.
You can edit this out. I don't know what the guideline is, but it does feel masturbatory to do it. Where it's like me, look at me talking and saying cool stuff. Like, yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, I don't want to hear myself talk too long because it's like cringy. Like, I don't want to do that. So
exactly. It's like the nightmare of replaying conversations at the end of the day you had at a party or something. You're like, oh no, why did I say that? And now you get to actually hear it.
I just listen to the quality.
Great. So your quality check, good.
Yeah. Are me and Brandon at the same level?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Let's tweak that a little bit.
Totally.
Let's go through, who was louder the whole time. Let's turn them down.
Exactly.
And then that's it. We're good to go.
That's it. All right. Gotcha, man. That makes sense. Yeah. I think I'll do the same thing too. That makes sense. I'll skip my episode. I'll listen to the rest. I saw you had some great people on, so.
Yeah. Thanks. All right. So that's pretty much everything I had to ask.
Lovely.
Where, just say like, what's the new record called?
Sure. Yeah, sure. So I'll give all the things I'd like you to check out. One is please follow my Instagram. It's @followgardens. I'd really appreciate that. If you don't already, connect with me. Give me a recommendation. I'm not sure when this comes out, what the timeline is. We haven't talked about that, but
probably like in the next 2 weeks.
Great, perfect. So by then I'll have this post out where I'm asking people to tell me the stuff they engage with artistically that does something for them, and because I want to experience it too. So please interact with the page in that way and let me know. Also, first single will be coming out June 6th. Please check it out. It'll be called Drive. There'll be more singles before, and then a record drops in August, 11 tracks, and I hope everyone's going to like it.
All right. Thanks again for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was a great chat. Thank you.
Cheers.
Thanks again.
Hell yeah, dude.
That was great.
Great stuff. Do I get to keep this?
Yeah, this is yours.
Hell
yeah, of course.
Man. I got on my merch bin. I got all the stickers, so this is
sweet.
right at home.